state attorney's office for, disqualified, whatever, right?
Right.
Anyway, point being is, so anyway, so man, we were going back and forth with, man, different threats, this, that, and the other, right? And man, it's a whole stalemate situation, whatever. Bottom line is this, though, is okay, by taking that no contest, right? No contest, man, freaking, while it's adjudicated as guilty in criminal court, it is not admissible in civil court.
Correct. Yep.
So, man, I can still sue.
Yep.
Right? So I'm like, okay, why am I giving them all these advantages, like putting me in jail and holding the PBL over my head and all this other shit, when I can just take it to civil court and, man, win there? That you didn't catch, I don't think you caught this part, but man, they waived about a couple $1 million worth of prosecution fees. I got $10,000 worth of fees, right? But think of how much it costs.
Oh, yeah.
Because, man, when I started looking at the no contest, man, looking closer at that, looking at the civil implications, right? And okay, because no contest is not an admission of guilt.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
It's not treated that way.
That's right.
Yes, I take punishment as if I was guilty. That's where that whole adjudication, man, guilty comes in.
Yep.
Right? Because you're going to take the punishment. But you're never found guilty and you're never admitting to guilt, which is why in civil court it's not even admissible. You know what I'm saying? So my conviction is not even admissible in civil court.
Well,
I'm already talking to lawyers too, and here's the thing: is this way it's almost better for me.
You can't.
No, they actually admitted they knew there was no way they could beat me. Right? They knew that.
Well, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
You want to? I got a tidbit for you that you didn't know that I couldn't tell you before. Right. Okay. While I was in, man, okay, I came across a book that happened to be brought in by John Johnson.
Okay.
I bought it for 16 suits. Guess what the name of the book is?
What is it?
Dark Psychology and Manipulation.
Oh, wow.
11 books in one. And I was going to have him read the back cover for the jury, right?
Uh-huh.
Does the idea of mind control fascinate you? Are you interested in understanding the human mind? Do you want to learn how to influence others and bend them to your will? Civil, right?
Right.
They don't have JoJo for civil.
No.
See what I'm saying? They can't bring him as a witness because I doubt he'll agree to come.
I'll tell you when he picked up on it.
I'll tell you what, this is the part I'll give them, and this is the part I even knew, and I conceded to them. I was like, it's not them, it's Dennis Ward. Dennis Ward was not gonna drop this case.
Right.
You guys deal with the facts, and you have dug into my case, man, probably more than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Besides me and Lauren. That's the thing, is people have torn this thing apart.
Yep.
And man, I've never tried to hide anything from anybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, look, the information's there.
Yep.
You know
absolutely.
what I'm saying? You think I'm guilty? Go find it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, you're not going to. And there's a good reason why.
Yep. Through and exhaustively reviewed the case. Now, like I said, I'm 100%. I could say you're 100% innocent. And that's why when people come in and I'm like.
Actually said that too. He actually admitted that during our negotiation.
Did he?
He was, he's like, a hell of a commanding presence, man, when we record. I got to give you that.
Yep.
He's like, I hated it when you would pick up the microphone and walk around like a game show host.
Yeah. Oh.
He's like, we can't do that. He's like, Bones is coming up, man. His getting thrown off the bench is coming up soon.
Is it really?
I have,
okay.
Paperwork. Yeah, man, filed my JQC complaint a while ago.
Oh, nice.
And man, so they've been reviewing the tapes from trial, man. Straight up. I mean, he showed bias, man, and that.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff when I call him, man, talking about, man, I call him out on the lie they told at the end.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, and this is where they're going to be upset because, man, I haven't forgotten about that.
Oh, hell no.
And yes, I am still going after your license because you shouldn't have done that shit.
No,
I don't.
Years ago.
All the evidence says John Travis Johnson is the other guy.
Absolutely does. From day one. Can you
imagine how much you would have choked when I brought that book up in there, though, with his name, his inmate number on it?
Yep.
Oh. Book on how to lie.
Yep, exactly.
He totally goes over. He doesn't, man, admit to ever being at CBS. The crime goes down 15 minutes after those two squad cars that we also have pictures of in CBS leave. The thinking is this. First off, I don't think that Ward knows I can turn around and still sue him.
Okay.
I think, man, Alvarez and Mansfield, even though they know I plan on suing, I think they're going to think that I'm so happy I'm free and that no lawyer will take it and blah, 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 that, man, that it's not going to matter.
Gotcha.
But the thing is, and that they're going to, and more importantly, that those two will get out of this. Because we've talked about that too, because, my thought was they were going to let me have that change of venue, right?
Right.
Alvarez and Mansfield wanted me to get that change of venue. Because if I got the change of venue, they would have been off the hook. You see what I'm saying?
And then they would have had another prosecuting attorney's office come in, review the case,
Yep,
possibly even
exactly. And
resolve
they
it
just have to go
themselves.
back to man Ward and be like, well, we did our best, but man, freaking, he got the change of venue.
Well, then Ward's hands are off the thing
Right.
because he can't
Right.
have any influence
Ward would have been out, but more importantly, Mansfield and Alvarez,
are
they
off the
wouldn't
hook.
have had to do any more dirty shit.
Right.
They would have been off the hook. They wouldn't have to go on TV and try this case again. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
man, get a change of venue, they're off the hook.
Yep.
We did our job. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
No,
Yep.
and actually that was their plan.
Oh, was it? Did they confirm that for you, or is that
Yeah,
just
we talked about it, man. Yes, man. I mean,
that was kind of where they
look,
were? That was kind of the way they were going to
we
tank.
couldn't say outright yes because, man,
Now, did they
obviously the
ever
law.
confirm for you at any point that their plan earlier on had been to try to get out of the case through the 90-day rule? Because I feel like that might have been one of their early plans. Because I remember when you were
No,
waving
they
that.
didn't, man. But no, they didn't. But it wouldn't surprise me if it was.
Well, because
You
that
know.
they were so shocked when you were doing that, and you were kind of worried about the dismissal, and that was when Morgan was like, because it was like Morgan was slowballing his, you know,
Well, because I
thinking.
knew there was no way that Ward was going to give up on that 90 days.
Well,
And
no,
with the
but
dirty
see,
judge, I knew Morgan was dirty by that point,
well, no, but see,
right? He
well,
was going to give him a date, man, within that 90 days.
well, what it
He would have
was.
pressed the trial earlier. That's all he would have done.
Well, remember the 90 days was going to expire in May. The issue would have been is assigning a judge in time to try the case, be prepared, and have John Travis Johnson, which would have allowed the state to maneuver and would have allowed Alvarez and Mansfield to say, Dennis, we can't be prepared. The 90 days is hitting. Let's just let this thing go. The 90-day rule
Maybe.
runs out. Boom.
But man, but I also know Ward still wouldn't let it go, just like he wouldn't let it go now.
Well, he probably
You
wouldn't have
know what I mean?
wanted to let it go, but I'm just wondering if those two guys would have saw that as a maneuverable out.
I would love to ask him. You know what I'm saying? But they're not gonna like me so much, man. Again,
Oh
after
no,
man,
yeah,
all this.
I don't think they would ever admit that today, but I didn't know if they implied anything in there, like,
But man, I'll tell you all about the negotiations some other time. I don't
oh
want to
yeah,
eat up
yeah,
your
for
whole
certain,
Thursday with negotiations.
for certain. But the
Yeah, man, definitely interesting, man. There were a lot of threats thrown back and forth, and a lot of men, different men, maneuvering, whatever.
well, I'm sure their threats were keep you in jail and we're gonna you're facing life. I mean, technically speaking. So to me,
Right. I
but
know, and if I did get the change of venue to Miami, who knows? And they made it, well, and they talked about whatever prosecutor was up there. Do you think they'd want to prosecute and that kind of? They played their whole little game with
well,
that
of course,
bullshit too.
right? Yeah, because they're going to play the game as well, because to them they're going to play like they have the chips,
But I
which
told them straight up, I was like this. I was like, look, I don't give a fuck. Here's the point. You
mm,
know, I'm not going to take anything that man where I have to plead guilty to anything,
right?
and I'm not doing a single day's worth of punishment.
Yep,
You know what I'm saying?
yep.
I have man done 7 years for something I didn't do.
Well, yeah,
So
you've had
man, if you
7
guys
years of
man
punishment.
figure it out, man, between that, I don't plead guilty and I don't do a single day's
Yep,
worth of punishment,
yep.
then we'll talk. And man, so then man, they went back and they got the no contest from Ward, and man, so man, then we were straight. Oh, and by the way, I also want you to, man, knock off all those prosecution fees because I saw Blanton's
Uh huh.
when he did his deal,
Uh huh.
and his was 150. His was like 150 some odd thousand, and man, he never even went to trial. Here's another little tidbit for you, man. We might be talking to Jose Baez for the civil suit. After I get out of here, because I'm still in Key West, right? I
Right,
couldn't
right.
get out before man freaking the holiday. Oh, they fucked me up, man, too. They let me out in the middle of the night.
Well, I was going to say,
And
when did
man,
they let you out? Like, what happened with that? Because I know you were
well, first off, okay, I wasn't supposed to get out till Monday, right? Because
right,
okay, they had to get me a DOC number since I got sentenced to prison time, right?
right, right.
They said fastest they've ever seen anybody get a DOC number, man, because I got it within an hour I was out. Man, I had no ID. I have none of my shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have shoelaces or man a belt, none of that. So anyway, so I get out, and I tried to even go to COTS, and COTS wouldn't take me because I didn't have an ID, right?
Gotcha.
So man, I ended up having to wander around the street all night, man, if I can get an ID in the morning. And luckily, I got there just in time to get an ID. But they were supposed to get me that shit. That was part of the deal. They were supposed to get me my ID and get me my stuff out of evidence so that I could leave, man, state, man, immediately.
Right,
You see what
right,
I'm
right,
saying?
right. Yeah, absolutely. Which is important.
And the thing is, but no. Instead, they gave me 2 pieces of paper I could take down to DMV to get my ID, right? And of course, it's Thanksgiving,
Right, right.
um, right? So, man, but man, luckily I got there just in time. But that's beside the point. But and then, man, property, the property room's not going to be open until Monday. You know.
Gotcha.
So the thing is, man, so I thought they'd have my property for me at the jail, but no, they just, man, told the judge, man, well, we want to give him back all of his property. Case is over. We don't need it as evidence anymore. Blah blah blah. So that way, at least I'd have my laptop and it's a couple cell phones, whatever, right? So I could at least communicate with people.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now I have nothing.
Well,
I
yeah, I was gonna
literally,
say.
man, have nothing.
So you don't have a cell phone
Uh,
that's turned on or anything, do you?
no, man, I'm calling you from the hotel phone
That's
right
what I
now.
thought. Okay, okay, okay. So you got to get a cell
But
phone and all that
Lauren
stuff.
and I have been talking. She actually got me a hotel room, man, for the night.
Oh, that's
Got me,
awesome.
man. So, yeah. And well, we've been talking because, okay, here's the thing, and I talked to her.
Right,
Now, granted, I'm still pissed off that she divorced me, man. Don't get me wrong.
right.
I am pissed about it. It was a bit much, man.
Yeah,
That was a lot to handle.
I can
Anyway,
imagine.
point being, um, the bottom line is this is, man, because I told her, I was like, well, and I told her about being able to sue. I couldn't tell her until now, right?
Right,
And I told her, man, that yes, we can still sue. And that, man, yes, she could do one on her own, but it probably would not be successful.
right.
And man, even if she did, she wouldn't get that much money. So I told her, I was like, look, what we need, you can join in on my lawsuit, and man, it will make the damages go up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because man, we still have where they tried to deny our marriage. That was a civil rights violation,
Yep,
right? And then, man, we can go ahead and add in our marriage as, man, part of the damages.
yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's, man. So now, man, she's happy because yes, I'm sticking to my word, and I'm trying to make sure she gets her money back.
Well,
I should have been able to take a bus from here to Miami or Fort
I heard
Lauderdale,
that in that video.
with my release papers,
Right,
right?
right.
So, but the thing is, now that it's days afterwards, I'm not so sure they're going to honor that. You see what I'm saying?
I got you. I got
But
you.
we'll see. I don't know, man. One way or another, I'll be up in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, man. By Monday at the latest, I'll be out of here.
And then once you get up there, is family is? Do you have any like? What's your plan as far as? Are you going back to
My plan is
Oregon or?
probably, man, while I'm in Fort Lauderdale,
Mm,
I plan on going to these attorneys' offices.
right, sure.
And I've actually talked to Lauren about that too. She may come down and join me.
Okay.
Because, man, the bottom line is, man, I'm not so sure I want Jerry and Kara handling our civil suit anymore.
Right.
Right? There's some reasons for that, but man, I haven't made my decision yet. But I want to go speak to some larger firms. I think we'd be better off going with a larger firm with more resources. And look, I want somebody hungry. I want somebody who's going to go in there and get everything they can from these assholes.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Absolutely.
I'm be point blank honest, man. I want them to go in. Man, hell, if I could get Better Call Saul, I would do it in a heartbeat. You know? But the bottom line is, man, no, that's what I'm looking for. And not only that, a bigger firm, they're going to come up with every last thing that, man, we can possibly sue them for. You know what I mean? So that's the idea. So I'll go, and like I said, Jose Baez is on the list. I already talked to Robert Hampman. He just wants to see the paperwork. He wants to see the deal I signed. But
Gotcha.
he's with you. And, impressing a guy who, man's been a lawyer for Trump and Tyson and all this shit, and he, man, sitting there talking about what a genius I was doing this. Yeah, it made me feel pretty good.
Hell yeah.
You know?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, it was. It was a genius move because, like I said, when you go to these attorneys and they're looking at
Like I
this,
know a lot of people were going to see this as a failure, right? And
no, it's not though.
They weren't going to see the strategy behind this,
Oh,
And I was like, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, yes, my ego wanted to go back to trial and kick their ass,
correct.
right? But man, that's all it would have been. It would have been my ego, and I would have been doing it with every disadvantage.
Correct.
What Judge Morgan said,
Mm-hmm.
he was like, well, if they took this to trial
Yep.
and presented their evidence based on it, if the jury believed that evidence, then they could possibly find you guilty.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep. Which
Because that's all a no contest is. It happens, sure, but man, so what? Santa Claus could possibly happen too.
that's exactly right.
That's
Yes.
the other thing.
There it is.
I mean, because
Yep.
he didn't even hammer, haw, or hesitate. I saw 910 days. When I saw a maximum of 30 years,
Yep.
I'm like sitting there. I'm like, man, he's got to say something about that.